Welcome back to the 2019 Kickball Circuit Cup Championship. I'm Patty Cullum alongside Avery Floyd here in Atlanta, Georgia. We are about to start our fourth featured pool play game of the day. And we've got Hazard out of Orlando, Florida, ranked number 7 coming into this tournament, against Cyanide, ranked number 16. On the mound for Cyanide is to be John Groder. And first pitch comes in. Hazard looks to be the home team. Cyanide is the away team. So Cyanide is up to kick first.
We got 1 ball, 2 strikes right here.
First up to kick for Cyanide is Zach Martini. And he takes a wide pitch, decides to bunt it anyway. Short little bunt. Catcher for Hazard easily slurps the ball up, fires it to first, 1 out.
Easy play.
Easy play.
Easy play by Bleeth.
Up second for Cyanide is Stephanie Schutenberg, a.k.a. Lil Bit. Stephanie Schutenberg. Stephanie.
I heard Lil Bit got a little talent.
Lil Bit does have
Just
a lot of talent. She can lay down a very nice bunt along the line, and she is super fast. Lays down a beautiful bunt on the line, fast, look at that. Hazard's outside charger, can't even field the ball, doesn't even make the show, or the throw. And Lil Bit Stephanie, safe at first. Cyanide's got a runner on.
Perfect bunt.
I thought
Perfect
she was
play.
going to be distracted by the glistening man meat that is John Gruder on first, or at the pitcher's mound, but no, she still laid down a beautiful bunt. Got to first.
Did you say man meat?
I may have. I may have. For that, I apologize. Luis Benitez up in the 3 spot for Cyanide. Lays down a pretty decent bunt, just foul, as a ball comes in from the other field. Oh, it's the infamous multi-ball of kickball. That's what we need. We need the multi-ball play, where randomly at some point in the inning, 4 or 5 balls just go out on the field. They're all in play.
So which one do you grab?
Whichever one's closest. Ooh. 1 bounce pitch right there from Groder to Benitez. Nice little bunt, but easily slurped up and bounced up by the catcher for Hazard. So 2 outs now. Stephanie successfully gets to second base. And now we've got Eric Schutenberg, a.k.a. Shooty.
Shooty is going to get outie.
Launches the ball to that right side, that infamous right side, but easily caught by a deep playing first baseman for Hazard.
Just like I called it. Easy out.
1 runner on. It wasn't that easy. He had to fade back. He was turned around a little bit. He even had to jump. Do you know how hard it is to jump and catch a kickball? It's very tricky. Very, very tricky. So 1 runner left on base. No runs scored. And now we go into the bottom of the first. Historically, Cyanide and Hazard have played each other a couple of times this year, and Hazard has had Cyanide's number every single game.
I'm looking for better results in this game.
Hoping for some better results. Let's see what happens.
Lead off, he on. He definitely going to be safe at 1.
Got Watson Weatherly pitching for Cyanide.
Just like I called it. Oh, my God. I'm the greatest at this.
Well, see, I may be a little bit twisted around because that was allegedly Groder who led off, according to his jersey number, but I thought Groder was pitching. So, you know what? I'm just straight up confused. I don't know who's who out here. Up next is Shanae Danridge, also known as Mr. Noodle for Hazard in the 2 spot. Got a runner on. trying to go for the bunt up one, or maybe he just missed it. Either way, ball bounced off his shin.
Yeah, that's definitely wasn't missed. I think he's just trying to see what the back catcher can do. I don't think the back catcher can make any plays.
Little pop back up the middle, fielded, thrown out at first. So Mr. Noodle not on base, but Groder successfully to second. And I do need to apologize. Hazard's pitcher for the first inning was in fact Chase, not Groder. So that's Chase Connor, Big Chuck. That's my apologies for getting that wrong. But hey, the man's not wearing a shirt, so how am I supposed to know what his jersey number is?
Get that man a jersey.
Cyanide looking for the double kick call, and they do get the double kick call.
We got an 0-3 count here.
Tangles himself up and gets the foul out. So Cyanide containing a little bit. Yeah, they still have the runner on second, but we do now have 2 outs. And now up to kick is Chase Connor, a.k.a. Big Chuck.
A.k.a. I need a jersey.
That's ridiculous.
Little shank, and the ball is fielded fair on that little shank up the right-hand side. Cyanide protects.
That's a good heads-up play on the pitcher to keep the ball alive and get that easy out.
Absolutely, just a quick little dish to the first baseman, and that's that.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's why you got to run out every play. You can't leave it up to the rest. Just get there.
So going into the top of the second, still no score for either squad. And Hazard deciding to mix things up a little bit, throwing in a new pitcher in the second inning.
Or did the other guy get a jersey?
Maybe he got a sunburn. Got to go to the medical tent.
Trying to even out that tan out here.
Exactly.
It's too hot for that.
Corey Teeter up for Hazard. And now we've got Groder at the Charger position, which is where he was last inning too. As expected, leadoff kick away, but a little bit too high. Plenty of time for right center field to slide over, make the catch. Unlike last game, right field not nearly being punished as thoroughly as it was the first game. A little bit of pause in the action as a ball from another field decides to come over to our featured field 10.
Definitely an outfield ball from the bottom base team.
Wesley Scursey up to kick now for Cyanide.
One bounce.
One bounce takes the ball. Again, I'm expecting to probably see a kick away here. Groder is generally a pretty solid charger. And if you don't have to face, oh my goodness, I was wrong! Wesley Scursey lays down a beautiful bunt, catches Groder snoozing just a little bit. No play at first base. Cyanide's got a runner on with 1 out here in the top of the second.
Yeah, they don't care about your
Alex Orkin up to kick now for Cyanide. Just catches the left corner of that plate. Got 2 strikes on him already. Lays down a fairly reasonable bunt on the left side. Catcher takes a look at second, realizes he doesn't have a play, dishes it to first for the out. So 2 outs now to Cyanide, but a runner on second. coming up to kick is William Jackson, who has the strange nickname Goodwill Bunting. With 2 outs, I'm guessing he's in more of a kick-away situation. Let's see if he's Goodwill kicking, or if he decides to lay down the bunt. Could confuse the defense a little bit, gives a chance to get his runner.
I'm confused at the hat. What, that disco ball?
Avery, you're not helping your case. Did you just admit to being confused by shiny things? Here, let me wag some keys in front of you. Easily distracted by shiny things and loud noises, my co-anchor, Avery Floyd, everyone. Goodwill Bunting lays down the bunt. As we could have guessed based on his jersey. Little pop bunt. Groder fires it to first, and it is not in time. Goodwill Bunting, good successful bunt all the way to first base, moving his runner to third base, and now we've got 2 outs. Runners on first and third, and coming up for Cyanide is Jason Eric Gordon, also known as Jeg. I will eat my own hat if he bunts in this situation. This is a kick-away situation if I've ever seen one, and Jeg is a pretty solid kicker. The question is, where's he looking? Does he like the right side? Does he like the left side? Does he like up the middle?
Over third base.
Does he like shanking a pop fly?
He's going to kick it right over third base.
Instead,
and it's going to drop in front of the outfield.
Jake,
shiny hat's going to make it to third.
Jake's in a little bit of trouble right now with 0-2, watching the first couple pitches go by. Got to see a shot right now, super high to the mid-left side, but easily fielded and caught. So, no run score for Cyanide after some good threatening against Hazard. And we are still tied at 0-0, about to go into, I believe, the bottom of the second inning. I'm sorry, top of the third inning. You know what? I have no idea where we are in the game. All I know is nobody's scored. There.
Bottom 2.
And Cyanide choosing to mix things up a little bit by, looks like potentially a new pitcher on the mound. Yes, indeed. That is Watson Weatherly.
It's going to happen. I'm trying to prevent it.
You know, that's a superhero name right now. Or that's the superhero secret identity name.
Let's go, Cyanide! All right, man, we need base runners. Let's go.
Hang on 1 second. Hey, what inning is it?
Top 3. No, top 2. Bottom 2.
So we got some confirmation. It is indeed the bottom of the second inning.
Bottom 2?
With no score.
I just asked one of the guys.
Ooh. Unexpected strike comes in. Looked like it may have been a scotch high, but apparently was right in the zone. And a nice pop fly all the way to right center field, easily caught by Cyanide. And we now have 1 out in the bottom of the second.
This is my guy, Eric Rogers. It's a good player right here. He can bunt, he can kick out, he can do what he wants to do.
And he can do what everybody else does, and that is watch the first pitch come in for a strike. It's going to be a strike, people. Take that first pitch. Lays down a, well, reasonable-esque bunt, except for it wasn't fair. But at least it was the right direction. A little bit on the line. So he got the foot on it that he wanted to, just couldn't quite keep it in play. Beautiful bunt on the line that time.
And that,
Slightly mishandled by Shooty.
but I would have let it roll.
Charger.
I would have let it roll. It looked like it was going out. It would have been a foul ball because the ball wouldn't have made it past third base.
I didn't see a whole lot of spin on it. I think it would have been one of those ones where if they'd let it go, it would have ended up being a double. Ooh, unexpected.
And it's a great play by Little Bit by chasing the runner back to 2.
Holding the runner at 2. There is some question about the call at first. There might be some discussion. No, looking at the replay, I think the call was correct. Does indeed look safe at first, but home plate ump is going to sit and talk it out, see if home plate saw anything different. But I believe that was a super close play at first. That, yeah, let's see. Here we go on the replay, and oh no, the play was overruled.
And as you see on the replay, the out goes to.
It was a solid play at first. Hazard has to be a little bit upset about it. Oh, ball comes in from the other field, so we're paused for a second. So 2 outs now. Got a runner on second. Cyanide making a solid defensive play with a little bit of controversy, but the call ended up being out. Edwin Lugo bunts to the catcher, makes the throw to first. And once again, Cyanide able to get through an inning without giving up a run to Hazard. A little one bouncer. Great spin throw by Martini at catcher for Cyanide.
He was out, by the way.
Wonderful play
I got replay here.
for 3 outs.
He was out.
Hazard still having some discussion. They are, it looks to be a little bit, still a little bit concerned and confused about the call at first.
Kevin, I swear I was thinking the exact same thing.
So stepping into the top of the 3rd inning, still no score. And it looks like Watson Weatherly is going to be leading off for Cyanide. Well, we talked at the beginning, historically over the course of this year, Hazard has had Cyanide's number, but Cyanide seems to be hanging in there very, very well. Both teams playing pretty solid. I would suspect, my guess is first error that leads to a run is probably going to be the game. I don't think we're going to see much more than a 1 or 2 run ball game at this point here in the starting at the top of the 3rd. Watson Weatherly takes a strike. Goes for a bunt, pitches on the inside a little bit, so ends up fouling it off to the left-hand side.
That was a good pitch, but I got a 1 bounce pitch. That's a ball count.
Up had 1 bounce as well. Pitcher didn't seem too thrilled about that, but I think he knows it was close but just missed. Another little foul bunt to the left-hand side. Looks like a little bit of an adjustment in defense as well for Hazard, as Chuck is now in the catcher spot.
Got him looking. That's that ooh-wee macaroni all day.
Was that a watched 4th strike?
Yes, it was.
Those are rare. I'm sorry I wasn't paying better attention. I think I had some zingers for that one. But alas, I didn't get to use any of my best material. Well, we gave the ump a wonderful opportunity to punch somebody out at the plate. So that's good. Again, the bona fide strikeout in kickball, folks, is not that common. Foul outs happen a fair bit, but bona fide strikeouts are absolutely rare. And even more rare are the swinging strikeouts. Oh, those are my favorite. Cook launches a decent little kick to the left-hand side, but a spectacular play is made by Hazard's defense. Again, one of those leaping catches, able to reel it in. Leaping over the head catch, goodness, what a play. And that will take us to 2 outs. Heather Ripia watched his first ball go by for a strike, knew it was a strike, acknowledged it was a strike, was happy it was a strike. No complaints there. That one was also a strike. Heather Ripia, not quite as sure, but has to agree that that was a beautiful catch of the corner. So now she's down 0-2. And pops up a ball to the left-hand side, and it hits the ground in fair territory. Rippy with a wonderful little strange pop-up right around third base, gets the ball to land, and gets herself safely to first base. Looks like Sarah Hale going for a shot. Pretty decent kick to the right-hand side, but unfortunately easily fielded. So once again, Cyanide does not score any runs. Now it looks like we are sliding into the bottom of the third. Getting a replay at that, the one single. Great little weirdo spot. Not generally an area that is covered. And so that's how Cyanide was able to score one base runner last inning. James McCormick starting things off for Hazard. Decent bunt to the left-hand side, beats out the throw.
Good old Picasso. Paint, paint, paint.
Brett Brillanti, aka BB Gun, up to kick now for Hazard with no outs and a runner on first. I've got to suspect at this point Hazard really has to be leaning towards going script. Get runners on, see if you can move them around, then start to kick them in. Because if anybody's going to win this ball game, I think it's going to be by 1, maybe 2 runs.
1-0.
1-0 could be it.
Hazard. This inning.
There it is, folks. Another one of Avery Floyd's famous predictions. Let's see if he gets this one right. Called safe at first. There's going to be a lot of discussion on that one. Let's see the replay on that play at first. Picked up, dish to one.
Oh, he's out. He's got to be on the outside of the dish.
Yeah, he's out. That's why you don't
He got to be out.
He's got to be on the outside. So there is discussion as to whether or not he did cross into the inside. It looks like the timing, he may have indeed been safe, but there's going to be some talk. No, they ended up calling him safe.
Oh, no.
He's out.
Watching the replay one more time. He's inside. Well, Boy, that one's such an edge play, just right on the line when he started crossing over. So, well, looks like the ump's call is going to stick. He is safe at first, no outs. Cyanide makes a little bit of a shuffle, brings a little bit Stephanie over for the mirror charger position.
Play at 3. Easy out.
So Justin Kemp, a.k.a. Skinny for Hazard, trying to go up one, misexecutes, ends up putting it up on the third base side for an easy play to third base, getting the lead runner out. Now we have 1 out, runners on first and second for Cyanide. I'm sorry, for Hazard. Decent pop to the right-hand side. Looks like it's going to be foul. Decent shot. They managed to get the out at second, but a run is coming in to score, and there we go. Hazard scores themselves a run. There's actually a question as to whether or not Skinny is safe or out at second.
It's safe at, oh, he called him out?
Called him out at second.
Because it was a force out, you didn't have
It
to
was
check
a force out, did not have to do the tag. So Skinny is out at second, holding his wrist, may have banged himself up a little bit, but damage done. That does bring in a run for Hazard. And now coming up is Amy Ballou with 1 down in the bottom of the third, runner on first. Pops a ball to the left side, easily caught, and that was apparently the 3rd out of the inning. 1-0 is the score. Hazard is up after 3 innings. And now Cyanide setting up to see if they can answer to fight themselves back into this game. Not that Cyanide is particularly out of the game. The score is only 1-0. That is not a difficult deficit to get out of. But they got to get on base got to make some offense happen. So back in the leadoff spot here in the top of the 4th inning for Cyanide is Zach Martini. A little bit of discussion as to whether or not the giant bee flying around home plate is going to be a factor in the game. Bee does look like he has left the field, which is good. All right, top of the 4th inning. First pitch comes down. Zach watches the strike goes by, gets a feel for at least that pitch, but this pitcher's got a few different pitches, so I'm guessing we will see a little bit more action on the ball with subsequent pitches. Martini lays down a decent bunt on the left-hand side and is successfully safe at first, and he makes the turn. The ball is overthrown past first. Martini successfully at second base. Hazard needed to make something happen, and they did. A beautiful bunt down the left-hand side, causing a throwing error by Hazard. Ball gets past first base. Zach Martini successfully on second, and now up is Stephanie, a.k.a. Lil Bit. Watches the first strike go by, and that has to be a vitalizing shot in the arm for Cyanide. Could one say that is the antidote to Cyanide? Oh my goodness, Lil Bit with a beautiful, oh, Zach Martini might get burned. No, he successfully dodges the ball, safe at second. Stephanie gets all the way, or safe at third, Stephanie gets to second. All of a sudden, we are looking at runners on second and third with no outs here on the top of the 4th. And up comes Luis Benitez. Now the question is, does he try to get on base or does he just kick the ball to try to get some runs in? He lays down a bunt. I don't know if I agree with that.
Losing that momentum.
Well, maybe.
What's going on with the Hazards?
I can't look at these.
Hazard is crumbling a little bit. The real question will be is, do they stick with this defense if they end up losing a couple of runs? Benitez trying for the bunt again, looking to load the bases.
But if I'm him and I'm down 1-0, I'm getting that point.
This definitely seems like a kicking situation. However,
kick
it's possible Benitez is not necessarily a super strong kicker.
All you got to do is get the laces on that ball, pop it out. Martini should be able to get home on a tag up.
Could be trying to lay down a decent bunt to bait the throw to first. And popped up. And safe at 1. Carvis, a.k.a. Cabo, the current charger for Hazard, eats the ball. Bases loaded, no outs. Eric Schutenberg, a.k.a. Shooty, comes up to kick. Hopefully we will see a run happen here. First pitch comes in as a strike. That is not a ball that you want to kick, particularly not where Shooty is lined up. That would have been a shank if he tried to put foot on that ball. Probably looking for a little bit more of a straight pitch or maybe something a bit on the right-hand side of the plate. There it is, pop. Nice long shot to the right side, easily caught, and the ball's coming in. Stephanie will get to third. Benitez will get to second, and Martini scores, putting Cyanide's first run on the board. Here we are on the top of the 4th. The score is tied 1-1 with 1 out. Now up to kick is Corey Teeter.
What would you do in this situation?
Oh, he's kicking. I mean, what would I do? I'd kick as well, but I know he's kicking. Who cares what I do?
Oh,
beautiful
great.
Little shot up on the left-hand side, bringing in Stephanie Lil Bit. Benitez holds at second. Perfect little spot. And now we are looking at runners at first and second, still with 1 out.
Now the pitcher's out there. He's a little frustrated. He needs some help from his defense, and they not
He does.
helping right now.
Wesley Scursey up to kick for Cyanide. I'm guessing he's going to swing away here. Although this is one of those ones where you could kind of go either way. You could lay down a bunt up the first base side just to try to move your runners. And defense certainly does not look to be expecting a bunt. First base is playing way back. So that would be a tough play at first. We are now at a red light. We have 3 balls, no strikes. If this comes in as a ball, that is a 2-base walk. But no, able to hang on to the situation. Pitcher for Hazard does throw in a strike. So it is 3-1, no 2-base walk. But Honey can still be selected with his pitch, and he's going to bunt that one just up first base. And just out at first, but that is okay. He did move the runners around. So We've got a kick-away situation now. Coming up for the far left bench, Alex Orkin. 2 down, runners on second and third. We're going to see if he planning on bunting just to load the bases and keep cycling through the lineup. He does take a strike, and they walk him.
That's a good play.
It
on
is.
The defensive end. They load the bases. Now it's out at all bases.
Forces it all the corners. And that will lead to Mr. Sparkle Hat, your favorite player.
Disco fever.
Goodwill bunting. Well, Will, you better be kicking this time.
Well, Goodwill, let's see what
William
you got.
Jackson.
He lined up like he got a good left foot, so I'll be ready if I go over there behind first base.
Good solid kick to the left side. It looks like it will be easily caught, though, in the, I'm sorry, to the right side, in the right center field. But hey, Cyanide gets themselves back into the game, plating 2 runs. So we go into the bottom of the 4th with Cyanide up 2-1. Cyanide now has to be thinking they need to do whatever they can to keep their defensive to hold, because Hazard is still an offensively dangerous team. That's not to say they're an offensive team. I'm sure they're all very lovely people, but they can put base runners on base. They can put runs on the board. Good Lord, I'm so flustered I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Avery, you might have to take over. This game has got me all discombobulated. Christine Sullivan up to kick for Hazard right now. And she lets the first strike come in. Free strike for the pitcher.
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. Go for a little bit of a bloop kick. Caught it a little bit on the inside of her foot, getting a touch of that shank over to the left-hand side. Pop up to the right side. Jason Eric Gordon covering at first base. Easy catch. Had to take all of about 2 steps, showing off remarkable athleticism, using the 8 to 12 seconds he had to get 4 feet to the ball. Zach Martini picks up a short bunt, fires it to first for the 2nd out.
I don't know why they is trying to pick on Zach. Zach is on his A game, spin throws, 2-hand throws, whatever he want to do today. He is playing ball.
Zach thus far definitely working to be the MVP on both sides of the plate for Cyanide. John Groder up to kick now for Hazard in a 2-out situation. Takes a first strike. About to say, look for anything right here. He could try to bunt on. He could try to do a kick. That looked like it was attempted a kick, but no. He went to Prison Town. Shanksville, USA, off to the left-hand side. Let's see if he can do it again. Give me another shank, Groder. Well, a little bit of a shank, but it stayed in the field, and more importantly, into the hands of the Charger, who had to leap all of about 8 inches to catch that ball. Cyanide, once again, staying defensively pretty dominant after giving up 1 run. And as we go into the top of the 5th, Cyanide is up 2 runs to 1. Looks like Jason Eric Gordon will be in his favorite spot at the top of this 5th inning, and that is leading off the inning. On the one hand, people expect bunts in this situation. On the other hand, he does not have any base runners that he's protecting, so look for a little hot ground ball or perhaps line drive. See if he can get himself on base.
Or the pitcher might be scared of him and just walk him.
Well, pitcher's been pretty well covered by his outfield, particularly on the right side. So I don't think he's going to give up an intentional walk. Jeg fires a shot into the left-hand side, and again, easily picked up. That's got to be a wonderfully comfortable position as a pitcher, knowing that you've got outfielders who can range, make the catches, get the ball. I do not believe we've seen much in the way of errors at all in the outfield. Watson Weatherly, little bunt up the first base side.
Blizzo, Blizzo, Blizzo. Doing what he do. Easy out, ball on the ground, grab it with two hands, comfortable little two-hand throw at one.
Easy dish to one.
That's it.
Watson tried to slide foot first into first base, which you don't often see.
That's why I don't slide it off.
Exactly. Sarah Cook up now for Cyanide with 2 outs. Decent little pop to the right-hand side. First baseman has to take 2 steps to make the out.
Well, right here, this is big. They down 1. They need 1. I say they score 2 and win the game, 3-2.
We shall have to see. Cyanide has to be excited. First time that they've been up against Hazard, I think all season, all year, over the course of facing off against each other in a couple of different tournaments.
And they still not making any changes. Yeah, I say they get 2 in. They get 2 in right here. We got Nuda up first. I think he get on. He'll be the tie and run. Yeah. That's what I predict.
Shawnee Danridge, a.k.a. Mr. Noodle, leading things off for Hazard here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Looking to get things started for the walk-off opportunity. First one we've seen on this field today. Nah, I take that back. We've seen other opportunities. Just not as close as this one. Called foul on the double kick, which is fortunate for Mr. Noodle. He eats himself a 1-up mushroom, gets himself an extra life, because holy cow, if that ball was not a foul, that is not how you want to start off the bottom of the 5th inning when you're down by 1 run. Goofy little speedy ball back to the pitcher. You've got to work really, really hard to make it the first on that one, or hope the defense misplays, makes an error. 0-1 pitch comes in. That was a no pitch, as Mr. Noodle was out of the kicker's box. So that is a no pitch, I believe.
Great bunt.
Really fools the catcher by the overrun. Everybody's looking for a double kick call on Cyanide. Catcher's looking for double kick, Charger's looking for a double kick, pitcher's looking for double kick. None of the umps saw a double kick.
Definitely was a double kick. So the defense is not making a bad argument on that play.
Gets the out at 1, and he's going for 3, but it is just a little bit too slow. And Mr. Noodle successfully sticks to third base, and now the tying run is at third with 1 out. Good play, good throw by the first baseman over the other side, just not enough oomph behind it.
He definitely got to get that ball all the way across the field to Little Bit. I think Little Bit would have made a solid play at 3 if that ball was on time.
The trickiest part about the throw from 1 to 3 is the dish that's fed to you from the defense. First baseman definitely had to lean down, and his body weight, center of mass was low, so he had to take that extra step just to reset himself in order to make the throw. And that half second was just enough to get Mr. Noodle safely to third, more or less uncontested. Big Chuck Chase Connor up to kick now with 1 out. The tying run on third. A lot of discussion all around. I've got to expect that Chuck's probably going to go for the kick just to try and bring the runner and see if he can get it to land.
But you don't want to like chop yourself on this one. trying to kick it too hard, you might leave it in the infield and you don't get the runner in.
Good eye, good eye.
So I just say, don't try to kill it, but just place it in the outfield.
Yeah. Now
Mr. Noodle should be able to get home.
The other thing that could be happening is they could be looking for a bunt just because as the gets the out at first, but the tying run does cross the plate. So I think what Chase was trying to do was successfully get on first, maybe move the runner in, but as the go-ahead run, he can't necessarily burn himself with a sac fly to the outfield because then you've got 2 outs and nobody on. But, well, same situation right here. 2 outs, nobody on. Long fly ball to deep left. Oh!
Good try a little bit.
A little bit, just about makes the catch in foul territory. Isn't quite able to make it, but certainly ranged to that ball well. Ended up sliding, just bounced it, just missed it. But now that's a pretty good read on what we're expecting him to do here, and that is a good solid kick away.
And if you didn't know, Little Bit is the co-ed women's MVP. So she is known to make those kind of plays. So with a tight game, 2-2, bottom of the field, it's 2 outs. This situation, I'm trying to get the big home run kick. I think he got it in.
Pitcher's definitely throwing some bounce on that ball. He's trying to induce a pop-up, which is obviously always easier to play than a sharp line drive. That one's on the popped up, shanked, and Cyanide ties Hazard 2-2. The first time this year, I believe, that Cyanide did not lose to Hazard. So good on Cyanide with some great late game play, scoring a couple of runs. Little pop out, first base side, easily caught. That is the game. So 4 games of pool play done. We've got 1 more to go that we will be broadcasting here on this featured table. And that'll be coming up in just about 15 or 20 minutes. Lot Lizards from Denver versus Pitch Intense out of Boston. For Avery Floyd, I'm Patty Cullum. This is Kickball 365's 2019 Circuit Cup Championship. We'll be back in just a bit.